Good morning, head scratcher land. I call myself the head scratcher guy. I don't know. I thought that was clever, but maybe it's not. Head scratchers are questions for the Calvinists, the Reformed, the TULIP followers. This is an old basic. Many reformers, not all, sorry, many Calvinists, but not all, like to go to John chapter 11. Jesus calls Lazarus forth. Lazarus, come out. And they use this to say, see, it can only be a drawing, the voice of Jesus. Regeneration is happening here. Jesus has got to call people from the dead. And come on, guys. The story of Lazarus has too much other stuff going on there for it to mean what you say that it means. Let's just look at a few different things. Again, I think you can see my screen. But first of all, I know A.W. Pink, for sure, used this in his book, Sovereignty of God, to try to say, look, here it is. This is regeneration. This is the calling. This is irresistible. Do the Calvinists know that Lazarus was already a Christian? So how do you call Christians forward if they're already saved, eternally sound, elected in eternity past? They're already ready for heaven. So was Lazarus' sister. So contextually, I'm not saying that every scripture that the Calvinists use for proof needs to be to explain regeneration, but I don't see any talk of regeneration. I don't see any talk of election. So again, someone explain Lazarus to me and how it supports or is a proof text for the Calvin Reformed TULIP position. Are the Calvinist Reformed mixing two different concepts? We see a lot of talk to the sister. She believes that Jesus is the resurrection and the life. It doesn't say that she was regenerated to believe it. It doesn't say she was irresistibly called. Never does it mention anything like that about the sisters. Also, I'm sure Reformed have their answers, and I'm waiting for them. The story of Lazarus, why does Jesus say, I'm glad that I let Lazarus die, basically, so that those of you that are with me can believe who I am. So you can believe my miracles, that I came from God and I am God. Let's see here. It's a fantastic story of miracle power. So again, the head scratcher. Do you have Lazarus correct? How is Lazarus showing me election? How is Lazarus showing me irresistible grace? A Christian guy that was brought back to life. To me, it makes more sense on the free will position that somebody, and I always use the prison motif, but it could be anyone. Let's change the prison motif. Some homeless guy is on the street corner. A Christian walks by, hands him a Bible tract related to Jesus, and it shares the miracle working power of Jesus in the Lazarus story. That homeless guy who never knew Jesus, never even heard of him, just had a bad life, reads the Bible tract and says, whoa, there was a human that's actually God who could bring dead people back to life. I want to know more, or I believe it, or, well, it makes sense under free will that someone might just read this story and say, this is incredible. I want to know more, and seek with all of their heart, and I will be found. Was that Jeremiah 29:13? Some might argue Matthew 7. I don't know if that's the right scripture, but it doesn't matter. So there's the head scratcher from Lazarus. And again, if you can see my screen, I'm not a professional YouTube guy. You can see some of my words. Feel free to read them or don't read them, because I know I wouldn't want to read them. Okay, so we'll stop right there, and over and out. Head scratcher, man, over and out.